Alright, so this is going to continue our theme of the snowman, and we're going to be doing this on watercolor paper. So this is the thicker 140-pound paper that we can work with so that we can put the acrylic down and it won't mess anything up. Alright, so we're going to start with just some basic white to kind of get the snowman roughed out. And I'm just working directly from the tube with the white paint. And start kind of just spreading some on to build up the snowman, just like if I think about building it in general. Alright, so we're moving up to the second part of the snowman, the main chest area. And again, I'm just getting paint directly out of the tube and kind of starting to flesh him out, make him look like he was handmade, which is what we want. Alright, and so then this is the final part of the body, which we get into the head. Alright, so this is the main body here. Go ahead and just throw a little bit of snow down here. Get some ground that kind of go in there. Alright, so we're going to need to change colors. And so this is intended to be more of a Christmas themed snowman. And so one of the things we're going to have him holding, kind of like in a previous drawing I did in a previous video, we're going to have him holding kind of a gift bag, kind of like playing a snowman Santa. Alright, so grab some red. I'm going to go ahead and get some of that down for the bag that goes along with the snowman. Now this is going to be a pretty decent sized bag. We're going to have it go all the way up against the snowman. So get some more paint down to kind of smooth everything out. And then we're going to need to make it look like it's being held. Come back with a little bit different brush and smooth up the edges a little bit. Alright, so there's our bag that our snowman will be holding. So we're leaving our snowman holding the bag here. Alright, so with those two things in place, I'm going to go ahead and start putting the eyes and things into the snowman. So we need something for him to hold the bag with, because right now it's just kind of floating out here in the air. Grab one of my other brushes, and then we'll need to get some black paint going. Alright, so with the black, we're going to go ahead and put in the, go ahead and give him some eyes. Alright. And again, just think about if this was being built, kind of doing it the exact same way. We'll at least make him a happy snowman while he's holding the bag. Alright. And so now I want to give him an arm and some hands. So again, we're going to use traditional, just sort of stick arms. Alright, we're going to have one part come right across. And I might show another part kind of sticking out from the other side so it can look like he is indeed holding it. Alright, then on the other side we can just show more of the normal. Not really going to put anything over here, he'll just be sitting here. Alright, so there's that part. Now, we want to do something to kind of, we need to make our snowman seem a little colder. So, and this is just to be for a visual effect, and so we're going to add a little bit of blue to our snowman. We may have to mix a little bit more white with him. But again, this is just to help start providing some of that hint that, you know, we're dealing with something cold, especially with the white sort of paper here that we're dealing with. Our snowman's getting a little washed out, kind of disappearing a little bit. So we're going to start throwing in some blue to just give some context and some shading. And I'm just going to kind of let this mix with a little bit of the white there, although on this paper it does dry out very quickly. And so if this were on canvas, it wouldn't quite be doing this quickly. So I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to have to come back through and do some more white on top of it. So I'm just kind of roughing this in. Actually, I can still pick up just a little bit of the white. Alright, and this is just kind of helping to shade and give us a little bit more contrast. And I know on the screen that's looking really blue. So I'll come over here just directly from the tube, grab some more white. And basically come through and just soften this up a little bit. So it's not quite so much. And so basically it just helps give my soften everything up, because this paper does soak up the paint pretty quick. Just come through and soften up some of this a little bit more. And so pick up some of the blue paint. Alright, so we've got our snowman having a little bit of contrast here now. Alright, so there's that part. Now, just like the snowman has some contrast, we need our bag to pick up a little bit too. Like our snowman, our bag is round. And so we got a couple of things I need to add in here. Okay, we want to put the Santa hat on the snowman. And then we need our bag to look more rounded, more sort of 3D-ish. So I'm going to go ahead and get a little bit darker red here. And again, these are just working straight from their containers. Let's see if I can Darken the bag up a little bit. This color isn't too much darker than the one I have, but it should be just enough to help give that hint. Alright, so there's the portion for the bag. Of course, I know on the screen the stuff is changing color as it dries a little bit, so what's appearing on the screen is slightly different than what I'm seeing on the paper. And then, of course, when acrylic dries, it's always going to dry a little bit darker than what you started with, so it's kind of a little bit of a surprise at the end as far as what you get. Alright, so I'm going to shift back to white. Alright, so I've got the snowman, I've got the bag, and I'm going to go ahead and grab some white and put the base of the Santa hat on. Okay, so kind of like our snowman, the base of the hat is white itself. So I may have to do a little playing with the colors here to get everything to be separate entities. Alright, so there's that. Right, I'm just going to grab a touch of blue right quick so I can get just a little bit of an edge on that hat. Do this without making a mess. Alright. So this is going to go back and forth for just a minute as I get it toned down. A lot of this you'll see I'm working wet on wet, at least as much as the paper will let me. And so I'm just going, as soon as I get one part down, I'm just going and grabbing more and doing the next part. Alright. In this case, I may actually have to let this blue dry a little bit before I can put some more white over it. I don't want it to be the most obvious part here. But I do need that separation between the hat and the snowman though. Alright, so now for the hat itself, the main body. Alright, so get this painted in. Alright. And then, of course, the Santa hat has a big white fuzzy ball on the end of it. So go ahead and take some paint, kind of fluff it up let it kind of be there. Go through and just touch up a bit of the part around the blue. A little bit of red, but that'll have to be okay for right now. Alright, so we've got our snowman, we've got him in a Santa hat, we've got him holding a bag of stuff. Now I want to get the ground kind of a little more defined here. Let the snow part kind of come up between these two a little bit. Alright, so then go ahead and get some texture kind of going with the paint. Alright, now one thing we can do is, I want the snowman to kind of be somewhere, not just hanging out here in space. And so we can go through and grab some greens and throw in some trees kind of in the background. Okay, so give them a little bit of a background to work with. Right now, I know this particular paint I'm using now is a little more. I've been going back and forth. Some of it has been more of a heavy body. I know the white is a heavy body paint. The red is a more softer version. It runs out a little bit faster. And then this one I'm using, I'm going to be putting a green on here. This is pretty much just a straight out liquid paint. So it's more very liquidy, very runny. But on paper like this, we kind of hope is not be quite so heavy on the paper. All right. So let me kind of think for a minute. All right. So I'm just going to kind of rough this in with the paint. I'm going to work around this arm. And so on these trees, when I brush them, I'm actually going to want them to go between kind of a dry brush and a wet brush, just to get different textures and things in here. All right, so some of it's going to get dark, some of it's going to get light. And that's kind of what I want for this effect. All right, these are kind of evergreen trees, and they're kind of got branches going a lot of places sometimes. All right, so there's this one. Fill that in. This is probably a case where I should have put the arm on last. Some hindsight stuff. All right. And so I'm just going to grab some more paint, kind of throw it on here, kind of thicken it up, give some texture, just in different spots. All right. All right, so here's that tree. Let's go ahead and get another one. So technically this one will be behind the one I just did. But I gotta fill in right up to the snowman here. And so remember too, with some of this, you need a base color, and then once it kind of sits for a minute, you need to come back over it with a different color to help get some of that definition and shading and stuff in. Alright, so there's a second tree. Let's go ahead and see if I can work another one in over here. Leave this one kind of up high here. Right. So here's this one. Alright, so there's my snowman. Got a couple of trees on the right, got another one on the left. No, I'm just not quite feeling this one yet, so we're gonna pull it on down some. Alright. And so we'll just let this green kind of fill in, become the background for our snowman. And then I'm actually going to pull some more around the edge here. And go ahead and just let it all fill in. I feel like my snowman is getting washed out here on the paper. Alright. So there's the snowman. I got some trees in. I'm just going to let some of the paint kind of mash it in a little bit, make some lines. Alright. Just try to give a little bit of texture here and there. Alright, so there's my snowman. With some trees behind him. Now, okay, where did I put my paint? Alright. Let me get some more black back out right quick. Alright, so a couple more little things to do here. Alright, so we got some more buttons on. And then I want to grab some more white and go ahead and get some more of the snow kind of filled in. And I may want to put just a touch of blue with it once I do it. Assuming the green don't get pulled in them. Alright, so there's that and that. Alright, so it's just a quick little snowman with some acrylic paint. Again, this is on 140-pound watercolor paper with various paints. I've got a heavy body and then liquid acrylic as well. So all of this is acrylic paint. And then just trying to make sure to get some contrast on the paper for the snowman. And so again, I think for this, just get a touch of blue to kind of put in here, see if I can make some of it sort of pull through here and there. Alright, so I'm going to change it up just a little bit and pull in some of the liquid white paint. It's going to go in a little bit thinner than the heavy body stuff. All right. So there's some white on there. And then I can probably go through and just touch up the bag a little bit where some of the paint got sort of carried away. All right. And so I'm probably going to call that done for now. And again, this is an acrylic paint on watercolor paper. So it's about 140-pound paper. And that way it doesn't get too distorted or anything when I put the paint on there. So again, any painting and stuff you need to be doing on a mixed media or watercolor paper so it's heavy enough to hold up to what you're doing. And then using various heavy body and liquid acrylic paints to do the work. And so hopefully you've enjoyed seeing this, giving you some ideas on how to just kind of throw some stuff down on paper and start painting some of your Christmas scenes and things like that. So be back soon with some more.